যখন স্কুলে যায়, you're making sure on the phone that he has reached the school properly. You're monitoring your kids, you're monitoring your family. You're calling up the house, telling your wife that you are okay, you have reached okay, and if everything is okay in the house. আপনার যে বাড়ির যে ড্রেনের কভার, সেটার উপরে কিন্তু আপনি একটা নেট বসান যাতে তেলাপোকা না ঢুকতে পারে। This is exactly what cyber security is all about. Now try to imagine this is your network, that is your server, and this is your system. You see, the people are the workstations, right? You are protecting the workstations, the people, the members of your family are the workstations. And the rest of the things that we are doing are actually steps in cyber security, multi-layered protection system. If you look at insurance, it's like, you are creating a policy. When you're calling them up, it's like monitoring the system. When you're putting a fence, you're putting a firewall. When you're putting in a lock, you're putting in probably an antivirus. Cyber security, the approach to cyber security is exactly what you do at home. It's nothing special. Now when we come to sell to you, we try to scale. Yes, it's true. But if we had gone through it logically and systematically, it's not a big deal. You have to. I'm sorry, I cannot take it away from you. I can come and sell especially to you. But cybersecurity is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. There is no magic bullet, I repeat again. Now what happens? So I have a 6-step policy to understand your cybersecurity. This is for you. That there are 6 steps how you actually manage cybersecurity. This will help you to understand your system, to make procurements, and to talk with us. If you have the basics thing done, you're protected, more or less. No one will give you a 100% guarantee, 99% is there. You see, the first thing is assessment of your IT setup. Look at your IT setup and make an assessment. There are points there, that you have to make an inventory, what your hardware systems are, and you have to have a diagram. That diagram is very important. When you talk to a vendor, this diagram is going to help you. Unless you have a diagram of your system, you cannot actually explain your requirement to the vendor. We will either sell you more or we will sell you less. You have to have a communication with us. So these are the basic, ways of understanding your system. So your first duty is to have an assessment of your IT setup. And then you have an IT user profiling. You have to understand who can enter what part. You have to give access to different levels of people. Not everyone is entitled to all the levels of your system. And then you have a policy. You build up a policy. আপনি কি ফেসবুক অ্যালাউ করবেন কিনা, আপনি কি ইউটিউবে ছবি দেখবেন কিনা, আপনি কি ইউএসবি ড্রাইভ ইউজ করতে দেবেন কিনা। So you actually come up with your own policy that আমার size এত and this is the policy I want. These are the basic things, and you have 3 more steps to make, and it's very simple actually. You have to make your employees, your colleagues aware of cybersecurity. You cannot do it. 50% of cybersecurity problems are actually met up with awareness. After colleague, যিনি কম্পিউটার বসে সারাদিন কাজ করেন, he is just a user to you. If he is aware of cybersecurity, your system is at least 50% protected. It comes down to the human factor all along. আমাদের ভুলের জন্য, আমাদের ক্লিকের জন্য, we get attacked. So your colleagues and the users in the office, they have to understand what cybersecurity is all about. Awareness factor. Then you actually integrate a multi-layer. Depending on the size of your network, on the depth of your network, you actually put multi-layer security. It is not only antivirus. Antivirus is internal. Endpoint security. There are other securities outside which you have to integrate, multi-layer. Okay. And you have to have a monitoring system, backups, and how to monitor the system. So these are basically the 6 steps that you as an IT personnel, as a chief security officer or IT manager, these are the 6 steps that you require to manage your cyber security. The rest you have to buy, you have to talk. So this is your baseline, the guideline to how you handle your cyber security. I'm just talking in very general terms. And as I say, I understand by this. I don't want to understand rocket science. It's not possible all the time. So, as I say, most of us, we are trying to scare you. আমরা ভয় দেখানোর চেষ্টা করছি, but we from Kaspersky, we have a different approach. We want to be your partners. So we have a handshaking policy with all of you. You don't have to buy. আপনারা কিনতে হবে. But if you have a question related to cybersecurity, any questions, ask us. We will answer you. This is our commitment that we have been working for 10 years. We have a lot of data on Bangladesh. We have a lot of interaction with people, lots of users. If you have any questions, I'm telling you, you don't have to buy Kaspersky. Call us. We will respond to you. We will tell you what to do or suggest. The decision is up to you. So, this is what Kaspersky is all about in Bangladesh, that we are offering a partnership with all you IT people. Now, what Kaspersky is, what Kaspersky does, I would actually ask my colleague from Kaspersky South Asia office, Mr. Pratap Mandal. Pratap, if you would please come. উনি ওই পারের বাঙালি, এই পারের বাঙালি না। আমরা ঘটি বলি, right? Sorry about that. Pratapda is an Indian from India side. He's from West Bengal, but he is located in Mumbai. He is young, but he has quite a length of a career in the cyber security industry, and he carries a lot of value. He looks after enterprise business for South Asia area, and Kaspersky was so fast in deciding to send him over. I'm also thankful to them. From my side, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for listening to me. And believe me, it has been one of my biggest honors today to be standing here with you. You are my colleagues, I am your colleague, I'm always there. Thank you so much.
So, Shubho Sandha, Professor যেরকম বললেন যে আমি পশ্চিমবাংলার মানুষ, আমি Kaspersky's সঙ্গে associated almost directly indirectly for last 4.5 years. To better get into my presentation, before that I just want to congratulate Society of Chittagong IT Professionals, being the nascent baby. They have completed that 1 year. So we are really proud that in a city like Chittagong in Bangladesh, you people have foreseen that you need a association like this where all the IT professionals need to be united. And the good part is that while I was going through the Mr. Dear President's presentation, the roadmap was fantastic. I will pick a few points from that and then through my presentation, and I will highlight how we can also put value add on. And Professor, you have given me a tough time now. The presentation, it was like wonderful, mind-blowing, very informative. Honestly, it was like out of the... Okay, so let's start my presentation. I will not talk much about the products, maybe. I will talk about what is IT security today. Because already Pravir sir has given a fair idea where the cyber crimes are happening, how the cyber criminals are placed in this globe, and what is the landscape moving towards. So let's deep dive into that. So to understand the IT security today, we need to understand what is the threat landscape. So do we have an idea like what is the global threat landscape talking about? If you think like 2 decades earlier or even a decade earlier, we are talking about viruses, trojans, worms, which are made for just fun. That I can crack anyone's computer, it will just shut down and I will make fun of that. So maybe at my earlier days, in school days, I used to get viruses which will change the wallpaper frequently with some different images or some kind of awkward statements. But today, the threat landscape has been changed. Why it has been changed? Because there are a lot of parameters which are coming into, a lot of computing devices which are coming into in our life. What are they? They are Wi-Fi, they are Internet of Things, they are big data. If we think of, then again we have mobility of our data. So today the office is not restricted to a perimeter. So even if we think of that we have a perimeter protection, but always you have to think of that your data is out of your office actually. You have a work from home culture, you have satellite offices, you have branch offices, you have mobile devices, you have tablets, you have all sorts of laptops, those who are carrying all your important data and the intellectual property of the organization. So keeping all those parameters in mind, the threat landscape has been changed a lot. Today it is more targeted. So the nature of the threat, if you see, here we are talking, I will put the whole slide now. If you see the nature of the threat, it's a pyramid. The below part of the pyramid, which is 90% has been covered, it is actually driven by financial strength, or it is financially driven. So every malware which is hitting your computer, your server, or every attack which is trying to get access to your intellectual property, it is all financially driven. It seems to us that it may be a misuse or it may be some kind of abnormalities happening in the IT infra. No, there is someone behind who is actually profiling you for longer days, and after that they are targeting you. So always keep in mind, every attack you get, whether it is the older version of Sality virus or the recent cryptographic ransomware virus, you have been profiled well by the hackers, by the virus attackers, by the people who want to put your brand reputation down or get some business losses to you. So that is how they are talking that 90% of the threat is financially driven. Now the interesting part is the 9.9%, almost 10%. What it is exactly? It is exactly the targeted attack, that is the advanced persistent threat, what we are talking today about APT. There is a lot of discussions going on throughout the journals and the press media that APTs are coming in a huge way. What is APT? APT is a kind of, you can say, sophisticated threat which lies in your infra without getting detected by any of your traditional approach of security measures for longer days. As per Kaspersky Lab study, what we have seen that a single APT get undetected in any of the infra on an average for 241 days. Can you imagine? For a year, I am surviving with a threat within my organizations, though I have spent a lot for antivirus, for firewall, for UTM, for IPS, IDS, two-factor authentication, a whole lot of things. But still, that kind of APTs or that kind of threats are there within your organizations or within your infra, undetected. Why they are undetected? Because the nature of those threats are that they are so much sophisticated, blended and fragmented, they will put their files in multiple computers within your infra, and they will be just as a simple text file or clear text file. They will be not detected. But within their own culture, they will find out which infra device or asset is most important within your organization, and they will try to get accumulated, and then they will get their own formation, and from there they will start leaking out the data out from your infrastructure or the company. So that is what it is called targeted attack. It can be happen that even the competitive company or the competitive organizations, they are paying the dark market to attack your organization. So that is what we are talking about, 9.9%. And most of the time, this is not get detected by the traditional approach. I am repeating that. Now the top part of the pyramid, it is what Kaspersky is foresee today. This is really scary. If we think, this is really scary, where we are talking about government, local government funded cyber attacks. We are talking about cyber weapons. We are talking about espionage. That means it will be nation funded war within the globe, where a country or a government of a country is trying to pulling down another government, can you imagine what the chaos will be? So this is, we have to be very careful when we are talking about IT security. Today IT security is not confined only on antivirus or firewall. It is beyond endpoint. It is beyond traditional approach. Always we all have to think of how to get updated ourselves, whatever is happening in the globe. We need to keep ourselves updated. One of the good initiative of Society of Chittagong IT Professional, what I have seen, is the training modules. It's really impressive. I really want to thank those guys who have taken a call that you will put a training courses. Because that is the foremost thing which many of our seniors have missed out. They were very busy on putting their budgets for buying the products, getting them implemented, and getting selected for the vendors. But yes, now the young IT professionals, they have decided to undergo repetitive exams so that they will be updated with the mechanism and the current infrastructure and the technologies. Anyways, let's go to the next slide, what we talk about. What we see today from Kaspersky Lab point of view, because we have a research and development team spread across the globe to cover the time zones. So what we see? At one point of time, Kaspersky Lab used to process say 1,000 or 2,000 malwares per day. But today the statistics says per day our lab process 310,000 malwares per day. So can you imagine? It's on an average we have taken this. It may increase up to 5